Hey, what's going on, world? This is Brandon, Mr. B. Great. And today we getting some pointers from parents that been in the game for a minute. Live life with a purpose. You don't know what you don't know. So continue to learn and continue to grow. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing.
So not with my child's mother. We never got married. You know, we stayed together for a while before the baby came. You know, as an outside kid, pay child support, spend as much time as I can with my kid. I mean, went to court probably about 4 or 5 years, 6 or 7 years ago. Kind of went through that battle. Very costly. But I said I wouldn't do it again based on the fact of the money that I could have saved and, you know, spent something else toward the kid.
Yeah. So, you said it was an outside child, or what did you say?
Well, I'm married.
You're married?
Now that I'm married, so now I have a wife, and then I have, you know, deal with my child's mother. Plus, you got a kid that's kind of going in between two homes.
Okay.
So that makes a big, it makes a big difference. But at the end of the day, you got to really be focused on the kid. You got to be, especially only child, right? So she gets everything if something happens to me.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to take advantage not only of being a little bit harder on her, right? Because there's no splitting, but also teaching her that, you know, this life's a grind, man.
Yeah.
You know, and being a young African American female, it's important that she knows more than the average person on a consistent basis. So we read different types of books, right? A lot of versatility things, a lot of Afro-American women's novels that's in relation to how they got to where they are. I mean, she plays golf, which is an anomaly, you know. So, you know, we do that probably every Tuesday and every other weekend. She plays tournaments, so she's competitively playing golf. And so you really have to strategically have a plan for your kids that will allow them to evolve, because grades are just not going to be enough in this day and time. And so what's the anomaly out there? The anomaly is that not only a kid that plays golf, but has a mental mindset, as well as the business fortitude that you can start teaching your kids as early as 2 or 3 years old.
Now you say the balance between two different homes. Now when she goes to her mom's house, is her mom involved in a relationship? Like, how does that dynamic play out as far as?
So normally I don't really ask about her mom's situation. You know, I just ask her to be respectful on both sides. You know, you got to respect what your mom say, but then you also, as me being the dad, you got to respect what I say on both sides. Because, you know, it's already hard. You raising a female, right? And we know how the economics is now for a young black female. You know, I mean, all of them are normally generically smart, but in life we have to adapt regardless. Being adults, sometimes we have 2 and 3 jobs, right? So it's no different than adapting from one household to the next household, where you might have mom and dad, or stepmom and dad, and you got mom and boyfriend, or mom and if mom don't have a boyfriend, or she's looking to get married, whatever. I don't get involved in that. I think those are emotions that don't need to be handled around the kid. I think when I'm dealing with my daughter, we're losing focus on our kids by worrying about the other things that's happening in the environment, and not really having a game plan for your kid, the direction of their life, so that when they get older, they don't become what I would consider a leech to society. Meaning everything's like, well, you know, I got to get this or I got to get that. So we play golf because that's the #1 scholarship for females that's underused. So every year they give back anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 scholarships because they don't have enough females playing golf. So some days we're happy about it, some days we're not happy about it. But what I tell her is that we're doing this so you don't have to go through the student loan process that me, your mom, and your stepmom go through. So now you're not a part of a system that basically, in my opinion, cripples us.
So you're looking at the bigger picture.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right, and it comes from not giving her the money, but actually putting her in a place where she doesn't have debt, which is one of the most important parts in life, you know, because there are 2 different homes. I mean, you got to have your kids a child's trust. You got to have a child's trust for your kid. You got what they call a minor's trust. I think that's something that in our community we don't do. In the Afro-American community, it's not driven that we have one. In the Caucasian community, They do it from day one. They set it up, you know. And so if anything ever happens to me, nobody's fighting over money. When she turns 18, she gets money to go to college. When she turns 20, she gets other money. When she turns 22, she gets more money. And then when she turns 30, she fully takes over the trust that's basically in her name. And then money from businesses that, you know, that I own will go into that trust. I mean, as long as, you know, the business lives. And then teaching her skills about the stock market, about the Forex market, and about many other ways to make money without having to have a job. And I think that would be the next step for anybody that has kids. Don't say, hey, you're going to work at McDonald's or you're going to do this. Teach them how money actually is made and how money revolves. And the thing that hadn't changed in the last 100+ years is the stock market. Investing in oil, investing in different areas like commodities such as corn. Everything we eat on a consistent basis, there's somebody on the back end of that process driving the price up or down. So you become the middle person that picks it to go up or picks it to go down, and then it becomes a secondary income. Instead of having a second and third job, now you're an entrepreneur with a second and third business. Maybe you do insurance at day, maybe you trade at night, or however you want to do that. But in my opinion, the average household needs about 5 streams of income, no less.
Now, question for those people who don't know, what is a trust fund? What is a trust fund? You said setting up a trust fund.
A trust fund would basically, if she didn't have a trust fund and something happened to me, then the money would be managed by another adult.
The state or?
By another adult in her case, because I have a child's mother. So my child's mother will basically be the guardian over everything that I'm giving to her without her having any say so the older she gets.
Gotcha.
So what the trust does, it protects my interests as the dad, and it also carries out my wishes whether or not I'm here or not. So you have business trust, you have family trust, so you have a lot of different types of trust, but just for this conversation, the minor's trust is the main one that you would want to evolve for your kids regardless, because God forbid something happens in an accident and both parents expire, then how is that handled? The state might say, okay, you can put your kids up for adoption, but that trust will always be there to maintain the integrity of what you believed in, and you're still able to teach your kids long term without actually being there.
So it's sort of like a will, no?
It would be similar to a will, but you can kind of partner with the will. So basically it would be like let's say it's like protection for a kid as it relates to the long-term effects of how they grow and live if you're not around.
Now I have another question. You said you got her into golf. What made you go down that avenue? Did you do your research, or it's like, why not do dance or ballet or cheerleading or?
Well, I'm a firm believer in being, you know, multi-diverse, right? But also having a master plan. So the master plan was golf. She's done dance, she's done softball, and done some other things. But the master plan was golf, based on the fact that by the time she gets to go to college, we're looking at anywhere between $200,000 to $400,000 or $500,000. So I wanted to find not really the easiest way, because golf is a complex game, but more of a way that she didn't have to be a superstar
and still
to get a scholarship. You understand what I'm saying? Because let's say, for instance, she's shooting in the 80s, the high 80s, 85, 86. She can go to a D3 Division III school. If she's shooting low 80s, high 70s, she can go to a D1 school. If she's shooting between that 82 to 84, she can go to a 1AA school. So there's a barometer here, or might I say a range, that she doesn't have to be a superstar. As long as she can play good golf and shoot the score, she can go to any school she wants to go to based on what happens in her, 9th, 10th grade, 11th grade year of school. And then normally they offer golf scholarships in 10th and 11th grade.
Wow.
So you're already beaten.
You already said.
Yeah, you already know where you're going and everything. And then also during the summer months, they allow the kids to come to school and kind of take classes and learn, how to actually be an athlete on a college campus, which is another process or another focus, that we have. So probably as she grows older, she'll be able to work for the business, the business that I own, and then also still be able to play golf and do the things that are needed. So just a different path all the way around. When I was growing up, my parents, they didn't have time to come to my meets. My mom had 2 jobs, my dad had 1 job. It was a split situation. Parents got divorced early on in life, but I always said that I wanted to create time freedom for my family. which means that if you're having something, I can go. So I can just pick up my laptop, I got my, my iPhone, whatever the situation is, and make references to be there for my kids, which I think that's where we're losing the battle in this day and time, by not being able to hear what kids say and understand, that, hey, okay, a lot of things going on in the environment, but where are you mentally with your kid? Who's controlling your kid? Is it the TV? Is it their cell phone in the games? Is it the school? Do you still have their ear? Which is, I think, the most important part as they grow up. I mean, the day I die, I want her to still kind of be listening and saying, hey, Dad, I understand what you want me to do, next steps. And then teach the same thing to her kids, you know?
Yeah. Now, how do you start that foundation? Say I'm just having a kid, like my parents wasn't there like that.
Right.
How would I go about building that foundation, starting that foundation?
Once you get a kid, you got to incorporate them in everything you do. If you own a business, your kids needs to be around that business.
Yeah.
If you go to work, at some point, your kids need to be able to know what you do for a living.
Yeah.
It's just got to start early on in life, man. And then you got to start early with the reading, having kids to read different things, having them, instilling them, hey, these are the career choices that you can make, regardless of whatever they want to do. And then you got to stand behind your kids long term. The older they get, the harder it is to instill values. So you got to do it early on in life, because if not, it's going to make it harder when the kid's 13 and 14 to say, okay, well, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And then secondary, you gotta have a plan for your household, man.
Yeah.
You just can't be like, well, we're gonna do this or we're gonna do that, or this makes sense. No, you gotta have a master plan, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have that plan, then at the end of the day, you're just floating through.
Yeah.
And so, you look at the major people that are really doing great things in the community, right? They had a plan. The kid had a plan. That way, nobody's clouded up in the direction that they're going. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I haven't worked a corporate job in 7 years.
Yeah.
So when my daughter got older, she started school. Money to me is a great vehicle, but time freedom is the best thing you can ever have when you have kids.
Yeah.
And you're able to think about what you want to do, 2 or 3 vacations a year, because kids need to see the world. They need to see different cultures and different environments. Because if not, wherever you live or wherever we live is not going to teach them what they need to know from a holistic approach to living on a consistent basis.
Wow, well said. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man, thank you so much.
Unfortunately, my other dad had an emergency, but I've learned a lot. I hope you've learned a lot. That's what life is about. It's about learning and growing and becoming a better human being to serve the world, serve your peers. Life is about loving and caring and respecting others and teaching others. That's why we on this earth, to spread love and encourage each other. Get involved. Let me help you build that strong foundation with your children.